Hello, family. It's Ekia Dasol. Today we are cooking Bambara bean stew. Bambara beans is very known in West Africa. We have people, and they are called Bambara people. They are found in southern Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Senegal. So today we are going to cook Bambara beans stew. And if you are a person who like black eyed beans, then this one is even much better than black eyed peas. You would definitely need your beans, and then you will need onions, 2 onions, and ginger. Garlic powder is the one I use, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. You also can use a fresh garlic. I also went ahead and I used Kobe, which is salty fish. I also used salty beef, which is tole beef. I have a video about that, so you can check it out. I use 1 cup of shrimp powder, which is optional. I use 2 sardines. I love using sardines in my beans. The seasonal cube is also optional. Just remember that you're using Kobe, which is salty. And then the beef being salty too. I use palm oil, which is very local in African house. You can also use your regular oil. I use 2 cans of tomato sauce. Please feel free to decrease the portions that I use, especially for my beans or my tomatoes. I also use 1 tablespoon of pepper. You can also use fresh pepper. Now let's move on to the Bambara beans. Bambara beans is very hard. It's so hard, and you can hear the noise in it. So it takes time to cook with Bambara beans. You basically have to soak it 2 days or more. Just soak it and just forget about it, basically. But I went ahead, I soaked it for 2 days. The first day I changed the water, and then I got a new fresh water on it. Make sure that you wash it and then get a new water. All right, after 2 days, it was a little softer. I would say probably more softer because I can crack it, but not to the extent of breaking it. Well, I did, I guess. But the people that know Bambara beans know that it takes time to cook it. I boiled my water and I added my beans, and it takes hours. So you end up adding more water while you're cooking it. I was saying for this is very delicious after it's done, but it takes time. And so making sure so no so we are no suffer for a boom. A trick my mom a catcher me will show me not to basically stir. And as a men know beans in him when you were cooking it, because the more you know, the more mashino. So you don't want to mash your beans. So don't keep staring at it or stirring it. Just let it cook, and then you see how the water is decreasing. Just add more water. So if I was you, I will cook hot water and add it while it cooks. You will end up adding a lot of water, and then you can find out for yourself when it's done cooking, because you're going to use your finger to basically mush it, or your finger to press on it. All right, I use my palm oil. You can go ahead and use regular oil. And then I added my onions, which are chops. I chopped them or sliced my onions, and then I put them in the oil. I love palm oil. You guys want to basically learn about palm oil. It's very healthy, so you might want to find out about it. I added my ginger to my palm oil while my onions were in the oil. Also, just stir it. And to just tell you, the Bambara beans, you cannot find it in a regular grocery store. So you go ahead and go to your African store. The African have that. I went ahead and chopped my Kobe and my salty beef and added it to my base. Just remember that the salty beef and the salty fish is salty. So make sure that when you put in that in, you're not putting any salt in yet. I went ahead and added my garlic, and I cooked it for 5 minutes. Just trying to get all the sweet or the juicy stuff in my base. African food takes time to cook it. You can't rush cooking African food. And my mother's know. So no Ghana aduane and as Africa aduane dia only time I menwa because it takes a while. So I added to 1.5 cans of my sauce tomatoes. If you don't want to use a canned tomato, go ahead and use your fresh tomatoes. Added and I cooked it for 5 to 10 minutes. And family, if I say African food takes forever to cook, it does. So just go ahead and stir it, because you also want to remind yourself that you don't want to burn your stew. So you have to be closer in the kitchen to stir it while it cooks. And then I added my shrimp powder. I like the taste in my stew, especially my bean stew, with the shrimp powder. If you don't have shrimp powder, you can use the dry fish powder. It's optional. You don't have to if you don't like fish. You don't have to, and it still tastes good. And then you can see that it's thickening. That means it's becoming a stew. And so I added my sardine. Like right here now, right here, it can even be a regular stew and it still tastes good. Let's even forget about the bean stew right now. And this is stew and it tastes good. Trust me, it really does. With the sardine, if you haven't cooked with sardine before, try it. Trust me. Okay, so the beans is not cooked because it's easy to break or smash, and it's very soft. You want it to be soft, because if it's not soft, it will be hard for you to eat it. I scooped out all my beans, and you will have like a broth in your pan. So what I went ahead and did is I cooked my broth. I would say water, but I cooked it and it thickened up to become like the beans, like a little thicker broth, and it's also still beans. Because I don't want to waste or throw it out, I end up cooking it. No, I said be in Sony be free mo and Sony free mo. Then it was like a beans to add it to my beans. That's people that knows that Bambara beans is very healthy, and so you don't want to waste anything in that process. So I end up cooking the water out of the beans water or the base, and then adding it to my stew. At this point, you see that my beans are still like intact. It's not mushed or it's not just bubble. It has the beans, because remember I told you when you're cooking your beans, stay away from stirring it too much. If the water dries up, just add more water. So I end up doing that. Also, if you are looking to buy the Bambara beans and you can't find one, just hit me and I will hook you up with where I got mine. I believe they also have a website. I don't have any more Bambara beans. I have to go to the store and get it. I would have given you the website, or I would have provided. If you do want some, just hit me in the my comments box, and then I will help you out. eBay sells some. I believe it comes straight from Africa or Ghana, and also Etsy also sells some, but it's very expensive. Going to the African store and getting it is much cheaper than buying it from overseas. But if you have people that are coming from Africa, tell them to bring you some. So I went ahead and added my, I'll say broth, the bean stew, to my stew, my tomato stew. And you see how it's thickening up because I cooked the water out of it. I went ahead and I stirred my beans, and if I tell you what this beans is way better than black-eyed peas. So if you are someone who likes the regular bean stew, then this one you're gonna love it. This is a hit in my house. We definitely like it. My mom is the reason why. This lady. But it's really good for people that likes to eat their beans with like rice or cocoa or the gari and stuff like that. Especially people that were on campus or in boarding school, I believe. So after the beans, I cooked it for 10 minutes. Just make sure you're stirring it, but not too hard. So at least you can, have everything in the same pot or in the same place. And look at that. That is it. After 10 minutes, you're done. You are ready to eat. At this time, we fried us some cocoa or plantains. And my husband made some beef stir on the side, and it was amazing. Listen, the way it looks, it tastes much better than even how it looks. And I'm not being dramatized. Like, no. And we went ahead the next day and had it with rice, and it is good. My sisters out there, my brothers out there who love to cook for their family, try this recipe. Yes, it takes time, but it's good.